Heraclitus of Ephesus, a name whispered with reverence and intrigue, remains one of the most enigmatic figures in the history of philosophy. Flourishing around 500 BC, he predates Socrates, placing him firmly among the pre-Socratic thinkers who grappled with the fundamental nature of reality. Unlike many of his contemporaries, whose works have survived in fragments, Heraclitus's teachings come to us in scattered aphorisms and pronouncements, often cryptic and open to multiple interpretations. Despite the fragmentary nature of his work, Heraclitus's influence on Western thought is undeniable. He is known as the weeping philosopher for his supposed pessimism about the human condition. Yet his ideas also resonate with a vibrant sense of dynamism and change. His central tenet, everything flows, captures the essence of his philosophy, a radical departure from the static worldview that prevailed in his time. Heraclitus challenged the notion of a fixed and unchanging reality, arguing instead for a universe in perpetual flux, a cosmic dance of creation and destruction. He used the metaphor of a river to illustrate his point. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. This concept of constant change, of becoming rather than being, forms the bedrock of Heraclitus's philosophy and continues to resonate with philosophers and scientists alike. His enigmatic pronouncements, often resembling poetic riddles, have sparked debate and inspired interpretations for centuries. Despite the challenges of deciphering his fragmented words, the allure of Heraclitus lies in his ability to capture the essence of a universe in constant motion, a reality where change is the only constant. At the heart of Heraclitus's philosophy lies the concept of becoming, the idea that the universe is in a perpetual state of flux. Unlike his predecessors who sought a fundamental substance or principle underlying reality, Heraclitus saw change itself as the fundamental principle. He rejected the notion of a static, unchanging reality, arguing instead that everything is in a constant state of transformation. This concept of becoming is best illustrated by Heraclitus's famous river analogy. We both step and do not step in the same rivers. We are and are not. Just as a river is never the same from one moment to the next, so too is everything in the universe in a constant state of flow. The water that rushes past us is never the same water again, and we too are constantly changing, both physically and mentally. Heraclitus believed that this constant change is not random or chaotic, but rather follows a pattern, a cosmic order he termed logos. This logos, however, is not a rigid set of laws, but rather a dynamic principle that governs the interplay of opposites. It is through this interplay of opposites, hot and cold, day and night, life and death, that the universe maintains its dynamic equilibrium. For Heraclitus, the concept of becoming was not merely an abstract philosophical idea, but a lived reality. He saw evidence of change everywhere he looked, in the natural world, in human society, and within himself. This constant flux, he believed, is what gives rise to the diversity and complexity of the universe. To further illustrate his concept of a universe in constant flux, Heraclitus used the element of fire as a central metaphor. He saw fire not merely as a destructive force, but as a symbol of transformation, a primal element that both creates and destroys. Fire, for Heraclitus, represented the dynamic principle that governs the cosmos, the ever-changing yet ever-present force that drives all change. He wrote, "This world, which is the same for all, no one of gods or men has made, but it always was and is and ever shall be an ever-living fire, with measures kindling and measures going out. The image of fire evokes the constant interplay of creation and destruction, of growth and decay that characterizes the natural world. Just as fire consumes fuel and transforms it into heat and light, so too does the universe undergo a continuous process of transformation." Fire, for Heraclitus, was not simply a physical element, but a symbol of the vital force that animates the cosmos. He saw a connection between fire, the human soul, and the divine logos, suggesting a deep interconnectedness between all things. This cosmic fire, he believed, is the source of all things and the ultimate destination to which all things return. Heraclitus's choice of fire as a central metaphor speaks to his keen observation of the natural world and his ability to distill complex philosophical ideas into powerful and evocative imagery. The flickering flames of a fire, constantly changing yet always present, serve as a potent symbol of the dynamic and ever-changing nature of reality itself. Section 4. Logos, the hidden harmony. In the ever-shifting currents of Heraclitus's philosophy, the concept of logos emerges as a beacon of order and intelligibility. Often translated as reason or word, logos represents a principle of cosmic intelligence, a hidden harmony that governs the seemingly chaotic flux of existence. It is the underlying order that ensures the continuity of change, the invisible thread that connects all things. Heraclitus famously declared, "Listening not to me, but to the logos, it is wise to agree that all things are one." This statement underscores his belief that true wisdom lies in aligning oneself with the logos, in recognizing the underlying unity behind the apparent diversity of the cosmos. The logos is not something imposed from outside, but rather an inherent principle of order within the universe itself. Understanding the logos requires a shift in perspective, a move away from the illusion of static beings towards an appreciation for the dynamic interplay of opposites. Heraclitus believed that the logos reveals itself through the tension of opposing forces, in the ebb and flow of creation and destruction, in the constant interplay of life and death. The logos, however, is not readily apparent. Heraclitus lamented, "Though the logos is common to all, most live as if they had a private understanding." He believed that we are often blinded to the logos by our limited perspectives, our attachment to the familiar, and our resistance to change. True wisdom for Heraclitus lay in recognizing the logos, in aligning ourselves with the cosmic order that underpins all of existence. Section 5. The dance of opposites. Heraclitus's philosophy hinges on the interplay of opposites, a concept he considered fundamental to the very fabric of reality. He observed that the world is not composed of static, isolated entities, but rather exists as a dynamic interplay of opposing forces. Day and night, hot and cold, good and evil, these are not separate and distinct entities, but rather two sides of the same coin, inextricably linked and constantly defining each other. He famously stated, "The road up and the road down are the same thing." This paradox highlights the interconnectedness of opposites, suggesting that what appears as separate and distinct are simply different perspectives of the same underlying reality. The path we perceive as up is also down when viewed from a different vantage point. This principle of the unity of opposites is not a call for relativism, but rather an acknowledgement of the interconnectedness of all things. Heraclitus believed that it is through the tension and interplay of opposites that the world maintains its dynamic equilibrium. Just as a lyre creates harmony through the tension of its strings, so too does the universe achieve balance through the interplay of opposing forces. This concept has profound implications for how we understand the world around us. It challenges us to look beyond superficial dualities and to recognize the underlying unity that connects seemingly disparate phenomena. The dance of opposites for Heraclitus is not a source of chaos, but rather the engine of creation, the driving force behind the ever-changing tapestry of the cosmos.